This is one of the most important videos I have ever done on the crypto market. Today I'm going to answer the question, what's actually next for the Bitcoin price? Like what's really coming next for crypto? And I cannot see the future. I'm not a fortune teller, but I'm going to give you a technical reason, a macro reason why Bitcoin price is going higher, a technical reason, a macro reason, and a personal reason, not personal to me, but personal to investors. 3 big reasons the crypto market is going much higher. Watch today's whole video because any channel can give you just the technicals. Any channel can look at macro. I want to paint the full picture. That's why you subscribe to Altcoin Daily for an edge investing in crypto. So here's the first out of 3 reasons, the technical reason that Bitcoin is going much higher. Understand the technical analysis long term, meaning the 200-day and the 50-day moving average. And we'll look at the weekly moving average in a second. But why the 200-day moving average is important is because it eliminates the short-term noise. It's used to identify trends. In a bull market, the price action should, and generally does, trend above the 200-day moving average. Or if we go back to a bear market, we'll see price action was below the yellow, below the 200-day moving average. In a bull market, it trends above the 200-day moving average. And generally traders, just to understand where an asset is going, look at the 50-day and the 200-day. The 50-day is good for shorter term trends, shorter term price action, 200-day longer term trends. With this latest crash, the Bitcoin price plunged below for a second, for a day, day and a half, below the 200-day moving average, which would signal a trend change if that's maintained. Now, the good news is we bounced right back above that 1 to 2 days later, and thus far we are above the 200-day moving average again. That's good. To me, as long as we are above that 200-day moving average, we're still in the bull market. If we go on over to the weekly, and by the way, I'm going to put a link to exchange partners Bitunix and WEEX. There's exchange bonuses. Link down below if you want to follow along. If we look on the weekly, again, we see the 50-week moving average in the blue, the 200-week moving average in the yellow. And what do you notice? Actually, maybe this is a better chart to look at because we have stayed above the 50-week moving average for really the length of this bull run. Since the bottom of 2022, once we finally broke above it, the Bitcoin ETF approval, then dip, the halving, we bounced, we rallied to the Bitcoin halving, huge event, and then we dipped multiple times back down to that 50-week moving average. Liberation Day, that's where we crashed, the 50-day moving average. And again, like clockwork, this last major dip, huge leverage washout, we dipped right back down just above the 50-week moving average. Bullish, meaning the trend is not broken. Buying Bitcoin here is like buying Bitcoin the day all markets tanked for Liberation Day. Bitcoin tanked to 70K per coin. Great time to buy. It's like buying Bitcoin here. It's like buying Bitcoin here. Again, the 50-week moving average, great long-term indicator that not a lot of people are looking at. So that's the 50-week moving average. Now let's look at the 200-week moving average. Again, moving averages are meant to understand trends. Are we trending bullish? Are we trending bearish? The 200-week moving average, significant. But the significance of the 200-week moving average is we have never really seen the Bitcoin price drop under the 200-week moving average, really ever. I mean, maybe some days in 2018. Actually, it was the COVID crash that was the scariest. We did dip below it for a few days. Let's see. We did dip below it in the FTX collapse. So when FTX was collapsing, we dipped below it. When COVID happened, we dipped below it. Liberation Day, we didn't come close to it. To me, this says if the worst should happen, I don't know if this makes you feel better or makes you feel worse, but if the worst should happen, right now the 200-week moving average is around $54,000. I think any consolidation up here will allow that 200, I hope I said 200, will allow that 200-week moving average to come up into the 70s, into the 80s, the more time we consolidate. So point is, new investors are scared by this volatility. They'll sell, they'll get fear, they'll say new bear market. Long-term investors are investors in the know. If you've been subscribed to Altcoin Daily, we go over this periodically. Long-term investors understand this is right where we want to be to maintain the trend and has always presented a great buying opportunity. The trend is your friend. So that tells us the technicals are still looking bullish. That's long-term technicals. Day to day, we could always dip more in the short term. I don't know what the Bitcoin price is going to do tomorrow, neither do you. But from a technical setup, we're still in a bull market. So that was the technical. Now let's go to the macro. Again, we're going to tell you the full picture on Altcoin Daily. Again, like the content if you're getting value. I would really appreciate it. It lets me know you're getting value. If you understand this, the last time gold topped out in 2020, Bitcoin ran 557% over the course of the next year. Let me repeat that. The last time gold topped out like this, back in 2020, that's when gold started to consolidate, and that's when Bitcoin ran over 550%. Many charts back this up, okay? I'm not the first one to say this, but the masses don't seem to realize this yet, and I see it, I want to share with you. Gold top, every time in the past, has indicated Bitcoin bottom. 2020 proved it. 2025 is about to repeat it, I believe. Of course, nobody can predict the future, make your own decisions. But we see right here, again, gold topped in 2020, started to consolidate as all assets do after a big blow off top, and then Bitcoin started to run. Gold has just topped out, presumably, and the reason I can say gold has topped out or is close to topping out, the price just reached over $4,000 per ounce, and we're seeing a lot of top indicators with gold. Gold exit liquidity in Sydney, Australia. This is by far the best top signal I have seen in my humble career.
Hello, my dear crypto fellows and investors. I want to show you our exit liquidity 2025. This is the queue to go and buy gold. The best definition of a bubble, top and exit liquidity that we're going to have in the next 2 weeks. I want to see their face of these people when gold is going to go and drop 30-40%. Wow. Look at this. Incredible. There is a queue everywhere. People buying gold at $4,300 an ounce. Completely unaware that has been parabolic for the last 2 or 3 months.
So if gold has not topped yet, it's getting there. It's closer to the top than not. And I loved this perspective from, again, Bitcoin veteran Samson Mao. Just listen.
We're going to see a fast run up, and gold is a good parallel for what we're likely to experience with Bitcoin. If you look at the picture circulating right now on the internet, there are people lining up, forming queues to buy gold. And gold is at an all-time high. So nobody wants Bitcoin when it's in the low 100Ks. But once we get to like $500,000 per Bitcoin, I think the world's going to wake up. Central banks are going to wake up, and nation states are going to start joining the race. And that's when you go to 1 million very quickly and beyond.
And that brings us to the personal reason. Again, I shared with you a technical reason Bitcoin's going higher, a macro reason Bitcoin's going higher, and a personal reason. And I should just say 2 things. Number 1, Altcoin Daily drops a video every single day. We are about to see one of the biggest crypto bull runs of all time, I believe. That's my opinion. I could be wrong, but something that is free, it costs you nothing. Click subscribe. This is free content. We bring you perspective. Me and my brother bring you perspective every single day on this channel. Click subscribe. If you don't like it, you can change that in the future. Try it out. I think you'll find value. But that brings us to the personal reason. And side note, I did want to say very quickly, I could have gave you a million macro reasons or a handful of other big ones. Like the Fed is about to cut rates. Huge. That's going to make money easier, get money into the system. That's actually going to be really good for altcoins eventually as the Fed cuts those rates and makes money, gets it into the markets easier. And I did have another macro reason. for another video. The personal reason is this, and this sort of fits into gold. Why are people buying gold? It's because they have a distrust in their government. So in the last 10 years, have people gained more trust for institutions, gained more trust for their government, or lost trust? People have lost trust. Do we think that's going to change or get bigger in the next 10 years? I personally think that's going to continue. People are going to continue to lose trust in institutions, governments. That's why gold is valuable. Of course, I believe that the world is going to get more digital in the next 10 years. Just like in the last 10 years, has the world gotten less digital or more digital? Well, it's clearly gotten more digital. What do we think is going to happen in the next 10 years? I personally think the world is going to get more digital, so we are going to need a digital gold, digital value. That's Bitcoin. And if you ask where the buyer's going to come from, where were the buyers going to come from with gold? People weren't buying gold, and all of a sudden retail is in. Retail likes gold again, and I think we're going to see something very similar to Bitcoin, especially as the world grows more digital. So those are 3 reasons I think Bitcoin's going higher. My name's Austin. Like always, see you tomorrow.